everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working on a couple 12 by 12 layouts, mostly using the flea market collection from Simple Stories, although I do grab out this sky paper, which you'll see here in a minute, and that is of course from Sun Chaser from Heidi Swapp, but we'll get to that as we go. So I've had these few pictures that I've been hanging on to that I really wanted to do like some layouts with. So I still really love making 12 by 12 layouts. And if I have any pictures that kind of are just leftovers that I really like that don't quite fit into Project Life for one reason or another, or like with the next layout that we're doing, I had kind of a lot of pictures from one particular day. So I split them up so that I could have some for a layout. I like to try to incorporate 12 by 12 layouts in my Project Life album. So I just think it's fun to work on from time to time. And I have just loved the flea market collection, and I really wanted to be able to use it in some layouts as well. So this particular one, I have these two really cute photos of Will and Poppy. Poppy was snuggling with us in bed one morning, and she really doesn't get under the covers or anything like that very often. So Penny is definitely like a burrower, and she goes under the covers like every night. That's like her thing. But Poppy is more like on top of the covers at the end of the bed kind of thing. So whenever she was so snuggled up, I had to snap a couple photos. The lighting wasn't the best, so I did change them to black and white. But one great thing about that is that you have any colors at all that you want to use whenever your photos are black and white, which always makes things really fun. So everything for this particular spread is from Flea Market. So I loved this pink color, and I just always like the combo of black and white or black and pink. It reminds me of my high school days because that was definitely a color combo that I was really into back then. So I grabbed out this pink paper, and honestly, this pink is maybe the only or one of the only like super like mild pattern. So you'll see that it's almost just a solid color background. There's like a slight grid or like little notebooky paper, ledger paper, something like that, slightly in the background, but it's mostly just that light pink. But every other paper is like a pattern, which is great, but I find that it's hard to not incorporate other collections when that's the case, because I don't like to work on really strong patterned backgrounds. Like I like my base to be either kind of a neutrally pattern like this or just a white piece of paper. So I really wish that they had like one other mild pattern in the collection, but they did not. They have a lot of kind of tricky ones to work with. So for this one, I grabbed out the pink for the background. I did add that really pretty kind of like geometric-y diamond print that feels very mid-century to me. So I did a little stripe of that down the side. And then there's a couple, actually there might be 3 cut apart sheets, and so I grabbed this one that says notes and things. I thought that was really cute, and that would give me a little space to journal. And now I'm just trying to build up like a cluster kind of thing within this set of 3. So I have the larger photo that I printed off as a 5 by 7, the smaller one that's a 3 by 4, and then the journaling square. So then around that, I'm just trying to kind of build up a cluster and add in different embellishments. So I'm using a lot of stickers from the 12 by 12 sticker sheet that came with the collection, which I really love. And you'll notice that I've grabbed out a couple stickers that had kind of like a gold frame, and I will add a third one at the very end of the video. I really love those stickers, and they remind me of like the artwork that's in my house. And one of my favorite elements of this collection is that like needlepoint or paint by numbers or whatever they're trying to go for there. That's like that landscape landscape picture down at the bottom. And so I really want to use that. So actually one of the 12 by 12 sheets of paper in this collection is that exact print, and I'd love to try to figure out what I can do with it. But for now, I love that they have that same print on a little sticker so that I could at least get that into this layout. So of course I love the tag sheet, so I'm going to cut out a couple tags throughout this video just to add behind photos and whatnot as a little bit of just an embellishment. And I'm pretty much done with this. I've built up my kind of cluster here of 3, and I really like the way that this is looking. So as I'm adding on the last little thing, I will mention that I think it was Amber, thank you Amber, for commenting on my last layout video where I was asking for maybe a name for working on these 12 by 12 layouts that are kind of quick and easy layouts. So she had an awesome name for it that was 12 by 12 in 12. And I thought that was so clever. And you probably noticed when you clicked on the video, I did change it up a little, and I'm going to name this series 12 by 12 in 20, just because 12 minutes to do a layout is a little quick, and I'm not sure if I'm actually that fast. But 20 minutes, I would say, is around the time that it usually takes me to do a layout. Now, of course, the video is a lot shorter. It's only like 15 minutes, and that's because I double the speed so that I'm not going really slow. And then I did edit out a few things like me journaling and things like that that kind of take a little bit of time. But yeah, so I'm going to start this new series 12 by 12 in 20, and we'll try to bust out some layouts this year. So that one's done. I did add a little bit of that Heidi Swapp Heidi Shine, and I added that on there, and then it's in the tinsel color, the only one that I have left, but I thought that it worked well with that one. And now we're moving on to my second layout of the day. So for this one, this is where I pulled out that cloud paper from Heidi Swapp's Sun Chaser collection. See, I really think that the flea market could have benefited from having a cloud paper. Now, I love clouds. That's like my favorite kind of neutral paper. It's one of my, this one here, the ombre cloud, is probably my top 5 favorite sheets of scrapbooking paper ever. I just really love it. And I was really happy that it really works well with the flea market collection, so I was able to use it here. But I think the flea market collection really could use a cloud paper, because to me, when you're out at a flea market or thrifting, you know, it's a nice day, you're kind of walking outside, especially at like an outdoor flea market. So I think that the vibes still go really well. But since I didn't want to use a white sheet of paper for my background, and I just really didn't feel like there was any other background paper that would honestly work, because they were all so patterned. I mean, they're really busy. So I grabbed out the cloud, but I did use a little bit of that geometric shape at the bottom. And then I'm going to try to kind of do a grid to add in all my photos. So right now I have 5 photos. I am going to only put 4 of those photos into the spread by the end, but I had all of these extra photos from whenever my mom and I just went thrifting last week. And I did include a couple pictures from that trip in my project life, but I had a lot of other photos from the day, and I thought that it would be fun and of course perfect to use the flea market collection to document some of my thrifting photos from this thrifting adventure. So definitely going thrifting is one of my favorite things to do. It's a definite huge hobby for me. And I mean, whenever I saw this flea market collection, I squealed. I was so excited. It's one of my favorites that I've seen come out in a really long time. So I'm definitely going to have to grab like an extra pack of the paper just to keep on hand, like that I don't really mess with, in case a year down the line or a couple years down the line I want to use it and I can't find it anymore. I think it's very cute. And I was really excited to, within this video, do a layout that had nothing to do with like flea markets, and then do this spread that had everything to do with like flea markets and thrifting, and using the same product. So I thought that that was pretty fun. So here you'll notice I have a few fun pictures from the day. There was this really awesome like globe area at the thrift store, so I took a selfie there. Then there was a ton of little golden books, and so I thought that that was fun to take a photo of while I was kind of flipping through that collection. And I love that larger photo that I printed off as a 5x7. It just had such a nice composition with like this little peach colored kind of cabinet with the "come on in, we're open" sign. Then there was the granny square like little blanket along with some other clothes there hanging up. There were some fake flowers. I just thought that whole photo looked really nice. And then I printed off a couple other random photos. I'm going to end up only using this like sad dog cookie jar here, but I printed off a couple of the other just little random things that I found, and I am going to put that over here to the lower left corner. So this is in general the composition that we're going to do. I did add the Vintage Memories to the top. I love that font so much. So I added that up to the top and popped it up on a little bit of foam. And then you'll see that I added a couple tags over to the right side. I am going to add one more tag by the time we're done with this video. And then I really wanted to go with this kind of wooden frame here to add my journaling from the cut apart sheet. I love the frames. I think this is such a perfect time to use like the gold frames and the wooden frames, because you see so much of that while you're thrifting. So I am going to add this down here to the bottom, and that's where I'm going to add in my journaling. So basically the Vintage Memories is my title, and I'm just going to add some journaling into this little box. So I had to use the globe since there was globes in the photo. So I am popping that up on foam just so a few things have a little bit of dimension within the spread. And I think that looks nice. And then we're just going to add on a few just little odds and ends and little embellishments here to finish it off. Now, after I turned the video off, the next day, I went over to my parents' house and I sewed on the layout. So there was still some like hot pink thread in my mom's sewing machine from one of my last projects. So I just basically did a border around the outside of both of these layouts. And then I just added a tiny bit of stitching, like I think on the little frame here where I'm going to add my journaling, stuff like that, just like a little bit more stitching. But I think that the little extra bit of the stitching around the edge, the sewing around the edge of the spread just like really makes it pop and gives it something a little special, especially with it being the flea market collection. I just think having the sewing touches is really special and just goes along with the theme of the collection. So you will not see that unfortunately in the video, but I will be posting photos over on Instagram. So if you don't follow me over there, it's just Leilani_scraps. And I always share like a lot of project photos over there. So you'll see the finished layouts with the stitching added. I did actually get a sewing machine for myself for Christmas, or I received that as a gift for Christmas, my own sewing machine, but I've just still been using my mom's because I need to make room in my craft room for mine. So that's next on the agenda. I just did a like craft room kind of just refresh kind of thing over on Patreon. I did that for one of my last vlog videos, but I would still like to do a craft room deep dive video over here. So hopefully within the next month or so, you'll see a craft room video over here, like a vlog style coming up. So be on the lookout, and hopefully during that video or soon after, I'll be able to get my sewing machine in here for myself. So then I can use it whenever I want, because I found I really love adding sewing to a lot of my projects. It's so fun and just gives it that little extra something. So now I've added on a lot of my embellishments. I added the third tag over to the right side. I've done my journaling. It's looking really good, but I do pull out the journaling ephemera like bits and pieces pack that I got from Flea Market. I'm going to add in just a few little tiny things here to finish it off, and then I'll add just a couple other little bits to the last layout from this ephemera pack as well. And then we'll call it done. I loved these two circular pieces that say love, 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 and want, want, want. I thought those were really cute. So I add those on. And then I do end up adding on like the little tag that almost looks like a sticker that you would see on something at a flea market. I think it says like love this or something. I will add that to the spread. And I think that that is about it. But I do kind of flip through here. I love any ephemera packs. They're always fun. But I especially love the journaling bits ephemera because it just makes the ephemera really purposeful, and you can utilize it for so many different things. I think you can still have it as ephemera pieces just for fun, but I love whenever you can kind of journal on things. I always like to add journaling to my layouts, so that's fun for me. So here's the little piece I'm going to add under that sad dog cookie jar. And then I do add a couple little staples here just for the heck of it. And I think this one's done. So this does have a lot of photos on it, but I really like the way that it ends up looking. And I think there's a nice balance between the busyness of the photos and then all of the embellishments and stuff that we ended up adding. So I really like the way that this one looks a lot. And I love being able to use that flea market collection. It's so fun to get like really themey with it for that particular spread. So here I'm just going to add a couple little photo corners, and then I do add a couple other pieces from this ephemera pack. I just cut a couple of the little pieces here in half, and I'm going to tuck them underneath the photos just for a little extra something in the cluster. I knew that it needed something else, but I couldn't find it on the sticker sheet, and so I'm really glad that I remembered that I had this ephemera pack. Here's another one of the gold frames. I'm going to tuck a little piece under on the left side as well. And then we're going to, I believe, call this done. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back at you super soon with another video. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.